Yeah. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another podcast today, Sleepless in Cabarruk. We have the amazing Sylvia on today, and Sylvia is a coach, but she does so much, and I want to let her introduce herself because she's fascinating. She's so much things that she does. She's expert in so many areas. So Sylvia, please take it away. What do you do?
Okay, hi Glenn and Lee. So thank you for having me here today. So what I do, I work as a fitness coach. Also, I'm a nutritionist and health coach. So what I do is one-to-one individual sessions with clients in these different areas. So I create bespoke programs for them or nutrition. Like, well, it's not. I don't give diets. I'm not a dietitian. I'm a nutritionist. So what I do, I help them how to eat, and I show them what they should eat and how combine the food. And basically, as well, it's more about not to feel guilty when they eat and remove that stigma as well. Like many people when they eat, then they feel guilty, and that's not a way of living. So my sessions are not about mental health. That's why I call them nutrition well-being sessions, and then the personal training sessions. Then I'm also a dancer, so I do online dance classes. I have Mondays and Wednesdays, and then I also teach in different gyms in Dublin, all type of fitness classes as well. I also write articles for health magazines as a columnist, and then I work as a digital content creator for some brands on Instagram. That's what I do.
How many hours a night do you sleep?
Yeah, good question. I try to sleep at least 6, 7, because otherwise I can't function basically. But yeah, it's hard for me to manage everything because there are different areas. I don't focus just on one. I touch a few in the mental health area. So yeah, I try, but it's one of my struggles, to be honest. Try to sleep
Yeah.
8.
What got you into the fitness world and kind of the fitness world first? Let's start with the fitness world. Was it dancing? Like, did you do dancing from a kid, or was it going to the gym? What kind of got you into the fitness world to start with?
Good question. Who was here when I moved? So I moved to Ireland 8 years ago. So when I was working, I was before in the corporate. I was working in Google, and then we have the gym, so we were able to go out anytime. So what I always really like listen to music, not really, but I found my passion for dancing. So this was 6 years ago now when I was working there, and then I started teaching classes in Google. So I was working there, but then teaching like free classes. It was an activity from Google to Googlers, so it was free. Some people were teaching piano, other people were teaching languages. So I was teaching dance classes, cardio dance and fitness dance, and this is where I really found my passion for dancing, and then I start teaching in different gyms in Dublin in the evening, so after my working hours, and I was helping as well with nutrition, just giving advice to my colleagues there, my manager, and they were improving, like they were feeling better, and then I really thought, well, I struggle with that, I know about it, but just from my experience. So then is when I was still working there, I got certified as a fitness coach, nutritionist, and everything. And when I had everything is when I quit the corporate. And that's when I started my business, which is Fit with Sylvia, the coaching services. So this is how everything started. So I quit the corporate 3 years and a half. And 6 years is when I really started to say, okay, this is what I like. I don't like to be in front of a computer working for other company, no matter which company. So yeah, this is how everything started, and I felt amazing. I felt especially afterwards. So it's hard to do a workout. Yes, nobody wake up thinking, "Oh my God, I'm gonna sweat," but then always we feel amazing, and that kept me going, and I wanted to promote that as well to people on Instagram, my clients, because it's a way of living. It's having a healthy lifestyle, basically.
When did you make the switch to focusing more on the mental side? So you started out in Google and you're kind of doing the fitness and dance and everything, keeping people active. When or kind of what made you change to go, I want to focus on mental health and help people in that area?
This is a really good question because you start okay with fitness, with nutrition, but at the end of the day, everything like mental health is the most important. You can eat amazing, but you can be obsessive with food. You can train and be obsessive training as well. But if your mental health is not well, nothing can go well. So I start thinking more about it when I had cancer. So I had thyroid cancer operation here, still a scar, but getting better. So this was 2 years ago, exactly now in December. So 2019, before the pandemic started, they found a nodule that was suspicious in my thyroid. So they have to remove half of the thyroid. So after that, thanks God, like it was bad, but it was removed. So there was nothing else to do, like not chemo or anything else. But that affect me the way I see life as well, and took me a while to recover, because the thyroid controls your hormones, how tired you are, also your emotions. So basically I was, for the first 6 months, even 1 year, especially during COVID, and then we couldn't go out as well. So everything was at a time when I felt very down. I couldn't do 5 classes in one day like before in a gym. I felt really, really down, and I thought, well, and I felt bad as well, even with the scar. I felt like, I don't know. I started thinking more about the mental health side, and then I was having clients who were coming to lose weight, because nutrition is okay. I want to lose weight, or I want to feel motivated. I want a program, but at the end of, like, all of them, they have the same thing in common. They were overeating or undereating, or being obsessive for personal reasons. So the food and the exercise was just the last thing, no, that we have to cover. But if I do personal training sessions with them, or I show them how to eat better, they can improve. But the main thing is, like, they were having problems, maybe with their partner, so they low self-esteem and things like that. So that's, now when I do the sessions, I love the well-being sessions, because they're like therapies basically. And I really like, and even I study business management, and then I study nutrition. So I studied for 10 years many things. But now, if I would even go back, not even nutrition or fitness, which is good, or business management, which helped me to build my business, but if I would choose now, I would study to be a therapist, basically, psychology.
Psychology,
Because I think it's just, whoa, like, mind can just, you can go crazy. Basically, it doesn't matter how you eat, it doesn't matter how much exercise you do. So that's how everything started. The way I felt it in my body, that no matter what they were there, I couldn't wake up. The first month, they have to control, because this is control, it's an organ that is needed in your body, but it's not like the heart or the liver. So with a pill, it's covered. So basically, I'm taking medication for all my life. So they have to increase until it was totally at the right level. And that was 1.5 years later. So the first year, I felt super tired. The first months, I was sleeping like a baby, 15 hours, and with me 6 is enough in general, so, or 7. So that's when I realized I want to focus more on the mental health, and also, of course, like having anorexia, that we will speak now as well. So for me, mental health is key, and I realized about it even more when I experienced myself something bad.
Yeah, I can imagine that wasn't easy, especially right at the start of COVID. It's probably, without knowing, we all have our own issues, and we use fitness to paper over the cracks. And all of a sudden, you take that fitness away from you. You're too tired to train. You're too tired to exercise. Then you realize everything that's going on, and you need to face it. You have no choice. A lot of us can keep running away. It's only when you have no choice but to face it that you realize, oh, this is what's going on here. I need to correct this. With you just mentioned there the anorexia thing, did that come during the treatment or before the treatment, or where did that kind of set into your life, and how did that affect you?
That was a long time ago. So I'm 31 now. I was 18. So long time ago. And now is when I even speak about it. Before I couldn't. Of course, during the time I was not even aware. I couldn't. So that happened when. So I was studying. I studied engineer, and I quit. I didn't really like it anyway. And then I studied business management. So at that time, I was into modeling as well. So I started doing catwalks. I was like in Madrid Fashion Week and doing castings. And then that environment didn't really help. So my personality, and then I realized through many years of 3.5 years of therapy on a daily basis. I was in a center specialized in eating disorder in Madrid, really good. And that would save my life, basically. So I was... I started becoming very obsessive with my body. I was always very slim, like normal slim, but I wanted to be more. So why was this? I was in the modeling industry, and not that doesn't happen to everyone, right? But my personality was always very perfectionist. In the school, I was like the best in the class. I was always studying to the limit. I wanted to be the best, very competitive, very, which for entrepreneurs is good now if you handle,
Yeah.
but not good when you're 18 and you don't know how to handle. So very competitive, perfectionist, ambitious, and all these things. And then in the model industry, which was about physique, exercise, and things like that, comparing all the time, that brought me to an eating disorder. So basically, was my personality and then the environment where I went, you know, and yeah, I started becoming obsessive, basically thinking about food every second, all the time. I lost almost like 8-9 kilos. Maybe it's not a lot, but for me it's a lot because I'm slim. So 10 kilos, like I even sometimes felt my heart, how like going so slow. I'm thinking about it and it's like, oh my God, no. So
Does that stem from like, was there managers within the industry telling you like you need to be skinny, or was it just looking at other people and thinking, oh, I'm not as skinny as them, or I'm not in the shape they are? Does it stem from people above you giving you poor advice, or does it stem from you looking at other people?
Good question. The second option. So the first one, nobody told me because I was slim. Like nowadays, but in that environment, it's not like when you're in the corporate or we are talking now and how are you, right? This is the first question.
Yeah.
In the environment, it's very superficial, and of course there are nice people, but it's like, oh, you look gorgeous. Oh my God, you look skinny. Oh, you lost weight. It's like these type of comments are all the time there. So when you are 17 or 18, your self-esteem is very down, and at the end you get your esteem through those comments, through those people, because the only thing you can control, it's basically you can't control anything because you don't have money enough to build your life, and you can control food and you can control exercise and how you look, and then get the esteem through people's comments, right? So this is what happened to me. So I was 3.5 years in a therapy with psychologists, psychiatrists, no nutritionists, because everyone thinks they need to go a nutritionist. But I was so obsessive with food. For me, one biscuit, I was distortioning the food. Like I couldn't even really see what is a normal amount of food. You basically have a mental illness that you don't choose to have. It comes from different reasons, your personality and your environmental aspects, like in my case, modeling, and then you just need to recover. So yeah, with therapy, 3.5 years, which is a lot, but there are girls who take years, like with anxiety or panic, like years. Like these things take years. It's not 1 month, 2 months. So the process as well to basically recover. Finally, my weight came like went back easily, like it's normal if you eat normal. But how that happened? My parents were having meetings in groups with the therapists, with the other parents, because we were a group with ladies. So we had individual and in group sessions. So they were really tell them what to do. So basically they delegating on them the food, and they cover the mirrors, because I was waking up and checking if this was the same size than this, if my belly was like all the time, pay attention about my body. So they have to give me the food that they have to give me, like every 3 hours more or less, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, covering the mirrors. So I slowly start basically forgetting about it, which was hard the first 7 months. I was even hiding food, throwing food in the bins when I was gone. So I always have to be with someone. So they have really good rules that people follow, and they really like they involve friends and family. So everyone who I was hanging out, they knew I had this problem, and they were giving me my snack and everything. So it was hard, but eventually I started realizing that I was never assertive. I was always agreeable. Like I was always saying yes to everyone. I was very perfectionist. So I found myself. So eventually, when you change those things, it's like, okay, the food was just the only way to get out of that, right? But when you really eat well, recover physically and mentally, which takes longer mentally than physically, then it's like, oh my God, now I know who I are. I know, I know to say no.
Yeah.
I know myself, basically. So it was a long process, and it's not just about food. The food is just, it's the same with alcohol, the same with drugs. You have an addiction with something, but it's there because of something, because
Yeah.
you struggle with something somehow.
What how did you realize at the start? Was this like Was it your parents coming to you? Did they realize it first? Was there a bit of a struggle, a bit of a relationship there, or a bit of a break in the relationship if they're trying to say, listen, we think you're going too far, and you're like, no, I'm not. I'm training for this. I need to look this way. Was there any relationships affected, or was there kind of someone else realized it for you, or did one day you wake up and go, whoa, this isn't right? Like, how did the realization come on?
Okay, well, I started being obsessive, like that just came up, and it was very visual, like you could see in my grades and things like that. So it was visual, like my family knew there was something wrong, and the food, I was like, I don't want to have this dinner. Like I was just becoming a monster in that way, and I lost quite a lot of, so it was visual basically. And one day I went to the kitchen and I said, Mom, this I have a problem. Like I'm thinking all the time about food. I want to go to a center. Is when I told her as well. Of course, they were trying to find good places and everything, but I told her, and people around, of course, like it was very visual. The thing is, like, these don't happen, like this can happen to anyone. In my case, it was very visual, and thanks God. But someone could be maybe overweight and have anorexia as well. And they start reducing the meals and not eating and being obsessive, but nobody see because they're overweight. That's the thing. You know, like this can happen to everyone. People ask me as well, why you if you were slim? Because it's not about being slim. It's about what was going inside me. You know, my comparing with everyone, perfectionist. It's not about that. So that's why I always ask that question. It's the main question. Why you if you were slim?
Yeah. It's kind of the way you view yourself, isn't it? Like the way you're actually looking at your body. You're not seeing what other people are seeing, like, you know. Was it like hard to kind of make that, like they say, like you noticed that yourself, like, you know what I mean? Like normally maybe we had a guy on there recently who had bulimia. He went through bulimia, and obviously he knew when he was going through it, he knew what was going on, but it was a friend that sat down and said to him, listen, what's going on, and made him sit there until he talked. You made that decision to go to your mom. Was that kind of a hard decision, or were you just like, was that something that came in your head for weeks until you got up the courage to say it? Or, like, you know, if there's someone out there that thinks that they might be suffering, could you kind of help them? What made you bridge that gap to go, I'm going to go and seek help here, and how could they kind of build up the courage to do that? Like,
okay, so for me, I remember I was in bed and suddenly I felt my heart like boom, and then nothing, and then boom, like I felt very strange palpitations, and I remember like I ate one biscuit hours ago, and it's like, okay, and I just got afraid, and I told her this is how. And I suppose people who like how should people get like should ask for help basically. I think it's hard because they don't distinguish that, like they don't distinguish if they have an eating disorder or they are just a bit obsessive with food, you know, because they're also as well like, okay, emotional eating, stress eating, but that's not a mental illness like an eating disorder. Like you need to be thinking about food all the time, and each time you see food for you is like, or the opposite, you know, as well, with like if someone has bulimia as well episodes and the vomiting, usually it's more like binge eating, and then, but anyway, it's the same. You feel pleasure by controlling what you do, not eating or overeating. So I would say like my advice is speak with with a specialist and take it from there. Like if you always speak with someone can advise you, and maybe you are not speaking with the right person, but I'm sure that person can help you to get where, you know, because people think it's like a nutritionist or dietitian. That's not, but I think speaking and open yourself and explaining what's happening in your mind, and because it's not your fault. That's the thing, they think it's their fault. I thought it was my fault, but I didn't choose to have it. And that's when you realize, okay, well, I'm gonna ask for help because I can't control this.
You people probably approach you more because you have it in your bio and you talk about it and you kind of put it out there what you went through. People probably approach you a lot more, like they probably feel more comfortable to approach you because you've been through it, like, you know what I mean? Is there any advice you'd have for people to, in a way, to approach someone? Like if I was to approach you right now, or your parents were approaching you, you're probably a bit like, oh, they don't understand me. Is there any way like that maybe a parent or a brother or a sister could approach their family member that's going through it in a more kind of comfortable way to make them feel more open about it? Like, is there any way that you found your mom or dad talking to you, maybe things that set you off and annoyed you and drove you in the opposite direction, or things that might have helped you, or approaches that were better for you? Like,
good question.
So So the therapist told them at the beginning, well, and I think since then, because they never, so stop telling me things like physical about my physique, like, oh my God, you gain weight, or oh my God, you lost weight, oh my God, you look beautiful and you're slim. Because for me, you know, so I realized like during this therapy sessions, they were not telling everything. And now, even now, if I'm wearing a nice dress, like my parents never tell me, oh my God, you look like, it's just, I don't know, it's like they just kept that for forever, you know. And sometimes it's hard, but I think it's what they learn from that. And I think when someone is going through this, it's really important not to like, how are you doing, and not mention much, or oh my God, you look nice with that dress, but not mention that about that much about that, because they're really obsessive with how they look. Okay. Goes with the new food, or oh my God, you're just eating that, or you're eating a lot. That person maybe is thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna lose a lot of, like what I was thinking when people were telling me comments all the time. Yeah. I was like, whoa, it was like my drug when people were telling me good things, and bad, oh my God, they can make me sad for the day.
Yeah, so if someone said to you like, oh, you're eating that much, like too, as if it was too much, would that then drive you to just want to eat less and less, and be like, oh, they're going to say that I'm eating too much, I need to eat less? Like, so people's comments, it's mad, isn't it? Like, there's always a lot, especially at females, everything is kind of directed physically. Like, it's all like how you look, what's going on. There's no real kind of you know, how's work, or you look like you're doing a great job, fair play, like the work is going well, or how are you mentally? Nobody really thinks about those things. It's always very physical for women, isn't it? Like,
oh yeah. As well, when I meet with my friends, I now keep all my relationships very deep. Like I would say, how are you doing? And maybe it's like, oh my God, you look nice today. But I continue. Like I don't focus on that, because I know what I went through, and you never know what's going in people's mind. And that's the thing. Yeah. Instagram as well, like comparing with other pictures, like everyone see these things, and that affects a lot. So you really need to have you need to be well mentally, not to going down.
I always think about this a lot, the way you just mentioned Instagram or social media. There's so many people with like large following, girls that have, you know, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 followers, and a lot of young girls follow them, and they're photoshopping their pictures, or they're editing them, or they're only putting up perfectly angled. They might take 20 pictures and choose the best one. Like, they don't really realize what that's doing to the younger people. I think like it needs to be a point where the people at the top of social media step up and go, you know what, I'm going to put out there my honest self, because I know if I was 15, that's what I'd want to look up to, you know, that could help me mentally. And if you put one photo out there that gets 3,000 likes, great, you've boosted your ego. But if you put out a post that is more honest, and it's actually the real you could potentially save one life, and one life is much more valuable than 3,000 likes. Like,
yes, I mean, you said it perfectly. Like, there are many accounts like that, and I hate when I see that, because I know they go through many pictures, they edit it, then I don't know what, but suddenly the skin is super, there's not even a dot. It's like, that's impossible. Yeah. And I hate these things. I always speak in my stories to natural with in my pajama, and I'm trying to be like, I don't even wearing now here. Wait, is this cream? So it's like, I just like to be natural, because this is the way people act as well. So usually when someone follows someone, it's like they admire. No, they admire, but it's like, okay, well, that's useful for me, right? What they say. So if they see someone who is natural, they can say, oh my God, she's natural, I need to be natural too, right? That's true. Like really top influencers, the more top usually, the more fake in that way. But as well, they're putting a lot of pressure themselves. Like I saw as well 2 influencers last year, they suicided themselves. So I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of pressure for themselves as well, and they want to show, and then more pressure to be. It's like, okay, why don't we break that, and why not everyone is natural, so everyone would see the reality, right? But it's God, so they might have a low self-esteem, and then they project that in all of their followers as well. So what can we do with that? Unfollow people who make you feel bad in that way, if they don't provide you any value.
There's a wall there like that needs to be broken, because not only are they putting pressure on young kids, they are, as you said, putting pressure on themselves, and they feel like they have to be perfect in every single picture, or people's going to judge them. When if they actually broke the wall themselves and went, I'm going to put myself out there. Honestly, so many people would probably appreciate them more and then feel better themselves, and you could potentially change lives by doing that. There's like, you know, Roz Purcell, like she does that a lot, kind of puts up the comparisons of a posed picture versus an unposed picture. Those things are great to see. Like she's probably saved 10 lives easily in the posts that she does, where there's other ones that just don't really seem to care about that sort of stuff. Or even actually see some there's a particular coach in this area that does a lot of kind of bad work, very, very bad work. And there's certain influencers working with them, working with this guy. And I'm like, you are potentially putting your clients or your followers at risk by sending them to him. You know what I mean? You direct them in that direction. You're the person that's put them at risk. Like if one person that follows you goes on and gets onto that person, leads down the line to, you know, eating disorders and stuff like that, you've potentially ruined someone's life. So you need to be kind of careful what you're putting out there and who you're directing people towards. You can't just promote every product that pays you or every person that pays you. You need to kind of think about what you're actually doing and do you believe in the brand or the person? Like,
no, absolutely. And as well, like I work with brands, but I always work, for example, with brands that fit my values, like very specific. I could take more, yes, but do my followers are gonna really trust me? Like if I take something that, you know, doesn't really fit, they would know, okay, well, you know, she's gonna get paid through that. So at the end of the day, it's not worth for me and for them.
yeah.
And I think people should choose more carefully, but I suppose that top influencer levels, you know, it's different and they get what they what they offer. So yeah.
Career more than anything else.
Yeah.
They're thinking about their bank account rather than people's physical or mental health.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe as well because they didn't go through something, you know. So or maybe they're going through and
or they're still going through it right now. They haven't come out the other side of it. Maybe that's what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
The people who do obsess over their body or have, you know, maybe worked with coaches like this because it's so popular right now, and they're obsessing over their body, they're obsessing over their eating, they're like, all they see is calories when they look at something. If they eat something on the weekend, eat a takeaway, they feel like they have to go and do 2 hours of cardio. I'm sure with the kind of line of work you do, that's probably a lot of the client base that you get. If someone's out there and they're going through that, like what kind of advice would you give them to maybe, you know, settle back and feel more relaxed with eating certain foods or not having to do so much exercise?
Okay, usually when like I have clients who want, okay, give me this, push me a lot with this workout and everything, but usually they start like that, but then they maybe like they don't feel the way they said in the first session, you know. It's like, yeah, I want to do that, but then we at the end they realize that that's not the goal, or when say I want to have abs, I always explain and I said, well, core strength is better than abs. Not everyone can have abs, depends as well your genetic and everything, you know. So what I do is I spend a lot of time educating them. So I like to explain the things and not saying, okay, you can't get this or you're gonna get this. Like I never lie, I'm very realistic. And I think my clients, that's what they like. They always tell me like in your case, I suppose as well, it's like, oh my God, I've been with many nutritionists, I've been with many people, they pushed me a lot for 3 months, they told me I'm gonna lose weight, and I didn't. And suddenly they start with me for months, and it's like, oh, they realize, and they tell me in the sessions, it's a long process, but I'm improving slowly, even with ups and downs, but still improving, not with 2 months program magic 6 weight loss. You know. So I make the things very realistic, and I never tell them, okay, you're gonna get that. I always say, well, I have my reviews in Facebook, you can read, they can tell, you can see what they speak about our sessions, and you can start and we'll see. So I'm confident about what I do because I believe and because I experience, and that's what I transmit as well. And that's when they start feeling better slowly, it's like, okay, they trust. But it's true that people come or very motivated and they want something crazy, a program, or, you know, or I want to lose weight. But once they understand and they really see the benefits slowly, mentally, they trust. But it's very hard. And usually they're coming to me because they went through other professionals as well.
Yeah.
Them to do this, and this. And this is very common as well.
I always ask people, like, you know, if there's they look quite lean already, you know, they're lean, fairly lean, and they're like, oh, I need to lose more weight, I need to lose another 5 or 10 pounds. I always just ask them, what do you think is going to change in your life if you get from here to here? Like, it helps that one question can like open their eyes and kind of go, wait, what am I going to get? Like, you know, have you been that lean before? So have you been 5 pounds lighter than this before? Yeah, like when I went on holidays last year, and did you feel much different? No, not really, to be honest. Like, so it's like, okay, why do we need to lose that 5 kilos? Why do we need to lose that 5 pounds? Like, why do we need to do that? How about we focus on a strength goal, or getting fitter, or how far you can run, or whatever the case may be? Like, just try to focus on, switch the focus to something else. And maybe sometimes when you switch the focus, the weight loss comes, or actually they build muscle and they look more toned and they feel better about themselves. But it's just what they're fed every day is always just weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss. So they don't really understand. And just asking that simple question can kind of bridge that gap for them and open their eyes.
That question is amazing. And also, like you said, like usually they start losing weight by doing other things, like not focusing much in I have to lose weight. Like, okay, maybe being active, sleeping more, so you don't feel that you need to eat sugar because you slept well, right? So your blood sugar levels are stable and things like that. So when they see benefits from that, and they indirectly get what they want, but slowly, and by doing other things around in terms of like your well-being in general, and not focusing on I need to eat this, right? And not being obsessive. So that's a very, like what you said is exactly that. And also that question, what did you get? Then you want something else. Then what else? Well, you can be lean, but if you are lean by doing the things without being obsessive and doing the things normal, yes, you might be or you might not, right? But that shouldn't be the goal. Or genetically, some people.
And then where does it stop is always the thing as well. Like if we tell ourselves, oh, we need to be, we're only, let's say if you're living an average life and you walk around and you're 80 kilos, you weigh 80 kilos, and that's you just living, enjoying your life, you're okay. You don't really gain weight, you don't really lose weight. Then you come and you lose it. You need to lose, like, tell yourself, I need to lose, I need to get to 70. Then you get to 70. If you go back to your normal lifestyle, you're going to come back, you're going to creep back up to 80. Are you just telling yourself then all the time that you're only acceptable at 70? So then you're constantly in a gain, lose, when really you look good at 80, you're fine at 80. Why not just stay there? Like, you know what I mean? Or go to 78 if it makes you feel a little bit better. You know, you don't always need to be that extreme. And then you're just probably constantly judging yourself if you're trying to think that you have to be at that weight the whole time.
All the time. At the end, it's like living unhappy all your life based on how you look or the kilos. And at the end of the day, nobody cares. Like if someone applies to a job, you don't put in your CV your kilos, right? So, but yeah, it's there and in people's mind all the time, unfortunately.
Do you, Glenn's page is more focused on kind of anxieties and more mental health than the physical. Do you get people coming to you with those kind of things? Like people come to you and go, look, I'm really anxious, maybe because of their body, or they're feeling low because of their body, or is there would they be people that you kind of deal with on a regular basis? Or
with anxiety, panic attacks as well, like stress in general, like they don't really, it's like they don't distinguish, but the way they speak, it's like it's clear, right? They think, oh my god, it's like I don't have time to do this, I don't do this, and they speak very, you know. So of course there's a stress behind that conversation. Or they feel anxious as well. It's like, oh my god, I feel like I never finish my things and I never have time for that. So not everyone tells you directly the first time, okay, I have this and this. But yeah, I think if someone needs to lose weight, or again someone wants suddenly, oh my god, I want to create I want you to create a program for me, not everyone, but if that happens, it's because there's anxiety and stress as well behind that. So I think it's common, and to treat stress and anxiety is something that it's very specific, and it's nice because that covers many things that would make someone lose weight naturally by discover what is make you anxious as well, and things like that. So yeah.
Is there any kind of nutritional things you do that to help people? Like, would you? We've had a couple of nutritionists on. You come from the same background. Like, would you be telling people maybe avoid caffeine, or you can drink chamomile teas and stuff? Is there anything nutritionally that you would do to help people that are feeling a little bit anxious?
Okay, so for anxiety, like in general, like I evaluate everyone. So I have like vegetarian, vegans, people who eat everything. So everyone is different, and some people can drink like a coffee and be good. Some people drink 5, and have clients who from 5 to 0, you know. Usually, of course, like when you suffer from you have stress or anxiety. The main thing, as you maybe Glenn knows better than me, like as well as sleep is really important as well, because if you don't sleep, of course, your blood sugar levels are all over the place and you're gonna have stress. You might end up eating more because you need that energy that you don't have from not sleeping and things like that. So like everyone is different. I never say, okay, you need to drink coffee or you shouldn't drink coffee. So everyone is different. If someone tells me has stress and they have been drinking like they drink on a regular basis 5 coffees, we obviously reduce that and to see how the person feels, and maybe teas or chamomiles or something more relaxed as well. So it depends. Like I give rules based on what they tell me and how they're feeling through sessions as well. So it really depends. But of course, many coffees a day, if you have stress, it's not recommended.
Yeah, I don't drink any coffee. I drink coffee or caffeine whatsoever. When I help people chug fucking 5 monsters a day and feel normal, I'd probably be hardly counting any. No, I drink decaf coffee. I don't drink any caffeine. Like,
okay. Okay. What about you, Glenn?
No.
Oh my God, the same here. The 3 of us, yeah. Sometimes me, like if I meet with someone, I'm gonna go outside, but it's not because that makes me I feel anxious when I drink coffee. I feel like, what is this? No.
Yeah. Well, whatever's in a can of Coke or something, have the odd can of Coke. That's about it.
What?
Much caffeine is in Coke?
Whatever's in a can of Coke.
Yeah.
That's probably it. But no coffee. I haven't had coffee in 7-8 years or something like that.
Whoa, not even one. Whoa.
Yeah, I'd be the same. I don't have any. Like I had I took like some sort of painkillers like last year maybe that had caffeine in them and I didn't realize. And I was down the gym and I just felt so weird. Like now, luckily I trained straight away, so I probably burnt off the energy, but my lifts actually felt stronger and stuff. And I was like, there's a weird feeling. Like in my head felt weird and all, it just didn't feel right. And then I went home that night and I kind of had like a bit of a cold or whatever. I went to take the same stuff and I looked at it and I was seeing caffeine. And I was like, holy shit. That's probably the first time caffeine has gone into my body in like 15 years. Like.
Yeah. Whoa. No, it's the same experience, I would say as well. Better water, right?
Yeah. I don't really like putting any sort of stimulant into my body, and I picked up that habit from having anxiety all those years ago. Like with alcohol, like I gave up alcohol 7 years ago. Caffeine, I just became again obsessed with what I'm putting into my body, and I decided if I stop putting in the things that I label as bad, not what everyone else labels as bad, but what I thought like, okay, this isn't doing me good. Let's cut all this out. And my panic attacks will go. Well, I cut everything out. The panic still existed. I got a lot better, not just like in my daily habits and away from certain people who I was drinking with and stuff like that. And my life improved a lot, but I still had the panic attacks. So the panic attacks are more of a mental thing than you could give up alcohol and give up caffeine. You won't have them. It's not like that, but
you can definitely reduce them though. Like if you take people that maybe suffer a little bit and they're kind of on a mellow field and they're kind of worried about going up and down, and then they go out drinking just to get that high, and then the next day they feel like shit and they're anxious for like the whole weekend or the rest of the weekend. It could be anxious Saturday and Sunday, trying to get to work on Monday feeling shit and all. It's like it's a vicious cycle when you're going through anxiety or depression and you're bringing yourself up and down. It's just it's a vicious cycle, isn't it? Like,
it's definitely alcohol when you're going through that type of stuff. It's a no-go. Definitely.
We were talking about alcohol and vitamin D kind of deficiencies with the last girl we were talking to and stuff. And we started on the subject of the kind of gut health with her, but we didn't go too much into it. She said she could literally do a whole episode on gut health alone.
Sorry, I'm just gonna the vet 2 seconds, right?
All right, cool. So I seen from your page that you've IBS, like, so I'd imagine I know a couple of people with that, and it's not easy to deal with at all. Is there any things that you feel help you make you feel better, like certain foods or certain activities that make you feel better? And then is there certain foods and activities that make you feel worse, so that someone out here maybe that's only new to or only realize that they have it, that they could do and that they could avoid?
Mhm. So, well, first, there are different symptoms. So some, like for example, I feel bloated, and I also sometimes feel cramp. So depends. Food plays a big role. Like for example, I try to avoid. Like I'm not allergic to anything, but some things I realize after years, after 6 years, when I start feeling this way, that for example, like garlic and onion, it's like whoa, always after that I feel
Yeah.
really violent. So specific food, not much dairy, sometimes gluten, but this really depends. And then I realize that it's more about the stress. So when I have many things to do, or I have clients and I have to prepare, and then I don't know, I have an interview, or I have to prepare a new choreography for the dance, when I have too many things to do, that although I love what I do, that creates somehow stress in my body, and I feel that I feel swollen basically, and maybe I didn't eat at all onion or garlic. So it's more about stress. And lately, I'm not feeling so bad. Like maybe once a month or something like that. Before was every, like not every day, but every 2-3 days, all the time. So instead of, because I was doing like the FODMAP diet, I went to a dietitian who told me, okay, focus 1 week in avoiding dairy. Focus. So I was following just to discover what made me sick, right? But it's like I felt maybe swollen one day when I suddenly ate nothing about dairy. Another, like it was not related to the food that I was eating. So I discovered that the food, for example, when I was the week with onion and garlic, that was every day, all the time. So it's like, okay, maybe that affects me. But then along with the stress that I create myself, that's when. So it's basically a stress. Everyone is different. In my case, and IBS is really related to the stress. Basically, you're in other symptoms, but in me goes to the belly, and I look like 4 months pregnant. But yeah, that's how.
So,
That's how it is.
so yours can literally just come from stress. No food, no nothing. If you're eating the exact same way this week that you ate last week, but this week you're more stressed, your like stomach is affected by that. Like,
Yeah. Sometimes food. Sometimes if I don't know, like if I eat obviously the half-kilo yogurt, I'm not gonna eat it, but imagine like maybe I'm more than one portion, maybe I feel it, but sometimes yeah, sometimes no. That's why I can't say if I go to, I don't know, a friend's house and they offer yogurt, I never say no, because it could make me feel good, not. And usually it's stress. I realize is when I have stress. So stress is important. Trying to deal with that and live without stress, and not to add many things in your day if you can handle it, for example.
my screen just got lost. This isn't the first time this has happened to me.
Lee, that's gonna knock at the door any second now.
All right, I'm just looking for my screen, Glenn. I got lost. Give me a second.
Sorry about that, Sylvia.
No worries, I'm here.
Yeah, I think we were on the last question anyway, Glenn.
Look, God love her. Oh, I called the vet to the house. He's after calling me there, so he's going to be outside.
Yeah. We were on the last question anyway, Glenn, so you don't need to worry about it. I'm just trying to find my screen again.
Sorry about that, guys. Sylvia, I'm going to add you on my Instagram.
Yeah.
I apologize.
You have yours, and then the common one, right?
Sorry?
You have individually and then the common one.
Yeah.
With them.
I'll add you on both, and it's lovely to meet you. I think you're absolutely fantastic, to be honest, Sylvia. Your story is phenomenal, and I never knew how like we had people like talk about bulimia and stuff like that, but I've never heard the story as powerful of yours. How how obsessed you really do get because of it. It's incredible. So I thank you. There's a knock, I think. Sorry, guys. Wait, I'm gonna have to go, Lee. I apologize.
We were at the end anyway, Glenn. Don't worry about it.
There we go. Listen, I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Yeah, you just click out. Yeah, I'll talk to you soon, man. Oh wait, where are we at the last question? No, we weren't. I wanted to ask you about the IBS, and then the last question actually after that was if you were a young person starting out, like just trying to get into the fitness world, maybe or any age, to be honest, actually, you just want to train to feel better, maybe lose a bit of weight, maybe gain some muscle, whatever the case may be. You just want to go and exercise, do some exercise. Would there be anything that you would advise people, maybe to avoid, don't listen to so much of this, don't be too extreme, or what way would you approach it if you were starting fresh today?
Yeah, my advice, and I'm sure you could do, you could do agree with me because you're also a coach. So it's hiring someone. Like if you have no clue, it's good that you think, okay, I'm gonna start, I'm gonna see where this goes. But usually, and I wish I could have someone who helped me with things since the beginning. So having someone close to you, tell them what are your goals, and someone who you can really speak, and you can speak about your struggles. And if it's about fitness or weight loss, whatever, at the end it's about mental health. So I would say to speak to someone, or even friends, start speaking more about your feelings, how you feel, how you're doing your day to day, right? And then maybe you can join an activity and to see how is that for you, or you can start running, whatever. Like I hate running, but dancing, whatever, and start taking from there. And then once you are in the mood, I would say as well, hiring a coach and there are different coaches, like stress anxiety coach, any type or health coach, and take it from there. And I would say that's the best, because we think we know everything until we are not well. So it's always good preventing than curing, right? And this is something that people don't really, it's like, if you have 1,000, maybe what would you do with them? The first thing comes to your mind is like, I'm going to travel. Most of people, right? It's like, or I'm going to buy something or whatever. But it's like, why don't you invest in your mental health? And I think since COVID, I think people are thinking more about it, because they know what it's suffer from, mental health issues. And I think things are changing. But before, oh my God, traveling or drinking at night, and I think it's good to change that mindset and focusing about that, because you can travel in the future or whatever, but it's like, if you're not well here, it doesn't matter, even if you're in Cuba enjoying the beach. So that's my advice. And I'm also, even now, like I got married like 4 months ago, and I'm writing as well. This is like not yet, but I'm writing like a book. It's an ebook, and it's gonna be also book. It's gonna be for brides, for how to handle the days before, because I know came to me a few ladies as well who are gonna get married in a few months, and it's like, Sylvia, I'm gonna marry in 1 year. I want to lose 10 kilos, literally. So this is normal. So I thought, okay, it's okay, and we start and we work together. But at the end of the day, it's good that they take that as a hook, like the goal, right? But in this book that I'm doing, it's about help them to have a healthy relationship with themselves, right? And how to avoid the stress, and they can feel more energetic. And as well, I speak about like IBS and things like that, because when you're stressed, maybe you might feel bloated, and then you think, oh, I need to lose weight, but maybe you're not gaining weight, it's just stress, right? So,
and then adding weight loss to an already stressful situation will just make it an even more stressful situation. So you're just boiling the problem more than anything else.
Exactly. So I think it's interesting, because that could help brides. I put brides because I think it's really important. Like in their mind, it's like, oh, I need to. Suddenly, it's like, no, you don't have to. So it's a book the way we want to learn how to handle that, and you will have more energy as well to be glowing in your day, but mentally well, because when you're inside, you feel good, you look better, you're happier, like you're smiling, right? And I think that's the difference. So I'm doing that, and also as well online programs. But again, it's not to lose weight, it's to feel energetic. So I'm doing the online programs and also the ebook and book for them. So hopefully that helps some brides there as well.
I actually did the same similar sort of thing, but mine was just for general weight loss. Basically, I started to write what I was going to use as an ebook or a book. I wanted it to make it like basically fat loss for dummies, like so that any person that picks it up could totally understand what they need to do to lose weight. Taking away all, people just always tell you, they're always trying to sell you something. So they're always trying to promote their product or their diet, or the one specific diet they do. And then it's like, people have lost weight on carnivore diets, eating only meat. People have lost weight being vegan. So people can get stuck between that. If you go onto a carnivore guy and he's like, you lose weight this way, this way, this way, people latch on to that. Or vegan, you lose weight this way, this way, this way. So people get kind of confused, and they latch on to things that they don't need to latch on to. So I literally give them all the information they need to just lose weight without having to overthink it or just do things just because someone else said it. I want them to actually understand it. And then at the end of it, I gave them a 90-day journal to track their food, their exercise, their water, and then most importantly, how they feel. Because there's no point in doing something if it's making you feel like shit. If someone works with me online, they get the journal and they send me pictures of it and stuff of their days tracking. If I seen that whatever, amount of calories I was giving them, or the nutrition advice I was giving them was making them feel like a 2 out of 10 every single day, you'll be like, hold on a minute, like I'm not doing something right here, or they're not listening to my advice. We need to change something, you know what I mean? So being conscious of how people actually feel throughout this experience. The journal for me was a good bonus to it. Like, so that could be something that maybe you could add in for women to track their food and their stress and what's going on while they're heading for a wedding or whatever the case is going to be,
Yeah, interesting as well. Like, it's really, I like, because it's not the approach of weight loss, even I'm sure, even if in the title is weight loss, I'm sure you would sell more, right? But at the end of the day, it's not that. So it's how as well how to name it,
You want people to fully understand. We don't want to just make people lose weight for the sake of losing weight, or just listen to me. You've learned, I'll just tell you exactly how many calories to eat and send you out the door. You haven't learned anything. If you read this and get a full understanding, you can do the 90 days with me and then head off, and you'll know what to do for the rest of your life. Like, you'll know never to be scammed or tricked into something stupid again, and you'll know just how to be, do the basics and what works for you. Like, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. So this is our advice then for them.
Yeah, try to educate and allow them to kind of figure things out themselves rather than just throw something at them and hope for the best. I think we've covered everything there that we wanted to cover. Is there anything else that you would like to add, or tell people about your page, or where they can go to seek advice from you personally?
Yeah, so I have my website, which is the name of my brand, which is www.fitwithsylvia, with Y, SYLVIA.com. And then you can find me as well on Instagram, which is the same, fit, but with dots in between. So fit.with.sylvia, and then Facebook as well, Fit with Sylvia. And I'm on Instagram as well, trying to promote this healthy mindset that I think it's needed, especially on Instagram. So yeah,
you actually just did a whole month of mental health related kind of podcasts and stuff like that. So ours is mental health related too. So if anybody is interested in that, head over to Sylvia's Instagram. You might find some podcast that helps you and in your exact area, or whatever you're going through, whatever you want to hear from.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, in this case, like you interviewing.
Yeah.
The opposite, but I like as well. No, it's nice.
Yeah. It's easier to be interviewing than to talk about yourself. Trust me, I prefer this end.
Okay.
So we're going to leave it there. I'm going to stop the recording now.